Welcome one and all as we are transported into a familiar but sad world with the latest release from EA and Swedish-based team of 14, Coldwood Interactive. But this is not simply another indie game, but a passion from the developers to create a story, world and experience over just platform for platforming's sake. With the game's rather mortal undertones resonating from the opening beautifully pre-rendered cinematic, the game does not dwell on long intros or leading you by string to your next target. I know. Instead, it slowly incorporates simpler challenges with on-screen prompts to get you accustomed to the game's core mechanic, and then use this for all the logical puzzles that follow, being comprised of a ball of yarn slowly unravelling as you wander, explore, swing and generally leave your mark across this sun-bathed Swedish landscape that is lovingly realised here. The main character, painstakingly named Yanni, sets off to mend broken bonds and heal hearts, all the time leaving a trail of where he has been and what he has touched, and he's always tethered to this. If I was an arty type, I would describe this as such. The intrinsic bond between the character and his travels, tied back and held back by prior choices, is a metaphor for life and consequence, with every choice and action possibly affecting the next, with your path through life visible for all to see. But luckily I'm not so. It means that all that constant yarn that is being unravelled needs to be replenished by handy nearby balls that you can grab as you venture further. This also means that you can run out of yarn, needing backtracking if you take the wrong route. This is also woven, oh sorry, I know, last one I promise, into the puzzles, with your strands needed to create pivot points or pulley systems to overcome the given obstacle. Then nature comes in from wildlife like crabs being used as bait for a ferry service. Water is another hurdle to overcome, and if caught in the tide will mean instant death and a restart from the last point. But the way the puzzles are presented and increased make it a very engaging title that leads you early while you get your bearings, and then very quickly leaves you to work them out for yourself. It gets the balance right of capturing some old school platform timing, momentum and skill within its artistic vibe. The constant trial of each new lateral conundrum hooks into your competitive spirit, making you want to move forward. From the trial, these are never that taxing, but they are sure to increase in both complexity and exigency as the game's levels open up. All these zones are accessed through pictures in the main house as you work through each memory to bring back the happiness and good time feels. Now visually the game was, when shown at E3 2015, a stunner, with its 2D and a 3D world not new, but the gorgeously rendered scenery really stood out then, and here on the Xbox One we are presented with a 1080-60 as its core metrics, which does look lovely in play. Surprising for some, this game is built with Sony's own Fire engine, probably best known for Journey or Flower, but the team have modified this a great deal to realise their vision of this daydream-inspired world. But unlike some of the other games, the dreaded texture filtering is not an issue here, offering up a very clean display from the oblique angles that you regularly view your surroundings from. And this seems to be backed up by a standard FXA or post-process solution for anti-aliasing. And even though there is a little bit of shimmer, it doesn't suffer too badly. And obviously this is backed up, as you can see, by a well implemented physically based rendering solution, and this works impeccably with speculative reflections, diffused materials. Ambient occlusion is of the screen space type and works well if a little soft silhouette around edges at times near characters, but it works very well on soft contact shadows on grounds and ledges as Yanni explores. Again, the lighting throughout is very consistent, with dynamic lights hitting Yanni and the scenery, along with light shafts and colour correction. It all works incredibly well and simply complements the art. As the engine also incorporates physics with black box solutions from Nvidia and Havok, it means although it is a Sony engine, it is free to use across platforms, and one of its benefits is that being designed for the PS3 and its SPUs, it is accustomed to multi-core and therefore threaded design, making it ideal for modern CPU use, whilst also being multi-platform, so both consoles and PC can share as much code as possible, allowing simpler game design and creation. With the aesthetic being of real-world design, the familiar look of Pikmin meets Little Big Planet is immediate, but the quality of the textures, animation and post effects are its biggest win, highly important in a game you spend so close to the detail. With the 2D scrolling reminiscent of older parallax scrolling days to create a 3D effect, here full 3D geometry is used both in the foreground and background, even if you may not be able to see the detail, as it is filtered with a bokeh depth of field pass, and its circular confusion is very good and gives the objects both scale and clarity, helping it look like toys being controlled under a squinted eye. The return to childhood is ever present in the game's DNA. with the smooth update allowing the controls to feel fair and responsive, even though it is never a fast reflex based affair at any time. So far it only helps the game sell. Using a broad and bright colour spectrum with corrections used in various stages to accentuate mood, it never lets itself down, from swaying grass to looming waves, hungry hedgehogs to snapping crabs. It all works and blends superbly. Animation, although not a vast game of characters within the levels or any one time on screen, it is just as well done, with high keyframes and blending, along with the idle animations as you gaze in awe of your new surroundings or dust yourself down from a heavy fall. It gives Yanni the charm of his own, even if at times when unwound and emaciated, he can look a little scary and zombie-like. The intelligent use of techniques within the engine allows it to create such impressive visuals at these levels. Splitting the water into separate geometric bodies, for instance, convinces, whilst lowering the computation needed for its physics calculation. The particle system allows taps to pour water and fill small puddles, to also creating ghostly images that appear in the distance of the children in question. As far as indie platformers go, it really is of a very high level, as much from its artistic design, but the team's use of the engine means that it displays a high quality usually associated with the Nintendo title, and has the same family-friendly aroma alongside it. Sound-wise, it again relies heavily on the ambient sounds of your surroundings, all channeled through your chosen sound system to feel like you're lying in a field or by the seaside in the height of summer. This is backed up with a folk music melody used to describe the world in place of any words. This ranges from strings, pianos, completing the earthy toned soundtrack that is a perfect accompaniment for the green and organic vibe. You can just relax and admire the view as it bubbles along and soothes your soul. Now, performance is not an area we need to dwell on. As you have seen throughout the parts in the video, it sticks very close or at the 16 millisecond target throughout play in both levels. Throughout the trial, in only one area where it seems to be taxing the engine under some streaming issues does it see any momentary dips, but they never overstep a 33 millisecond time and are so brief and infrequent that I would guess that the majority of players would never notice them when they do. And it is great to see a game target such high standards and achieve them. I know some may argue it is not doing that much, but that is not the point. It means that the team have kept the target goals in mind and throughout development, and not allowed the content of its presentation to affect its solid performance, which is commendable. 16 milliseconds is a very small window. I have enjoyed my play of Unravel, and as I'm a totally honest reviewer, I do stress that, like all reviews, they are a subjective piece in many regards. Now, the entry price of £15, which is about $20 or €20, or £1.50 less if you have an EA Access subscription, is very good, and it would most certainly offer up a decent amount of enjoyment for that price, and at all times the production values seem to come from a much larger team than the small one that put this together. That said, I do not feel it will be a long time returner, and you may return to some parts when done, but most of the impact will be lost once you have completed the puzzles for the first time. Now, if the full game offers up multiple routes or secret zones, and sections could extend this further, but we will have to wait for the full release on the 9th of February to find that out. In the meantime, you can relax and unwind with this trial on PC or Xbox One to tide you over till then. I know, I lied, there's only one more. As always, I hope you guys and girls enjoyed this. If you did, then please hit the like and subscribe button, and also check out even more content over on my website at nxgamer.com. In addition to my plethora of videos of other articles you can check out on my channel and my website, and also follow me on Twitter if you want to get in contact with me or ask me any questions. Leave all your thoughts and your feedback below. You guys and girls take care, and I'll see you very soon on the next one.